There was some communications I was doing with my community members. I thought it would be good to have a chat with you. Those who are joining live, do give a thumbs up and also let me know whether you're able to hear me. I want to cover the topic: is stock market risky, and is not taking risk, is it really something helping you? That's something we want to uncover. I think if you're not taking risk, whether it's a stock market or outside of your stock market in your job, I think it's more riskier than you think. So people tend to stay in their safe zones and try to work through. But we're going to talk about this topic specifically. I want to share with you some of the problem statement, what people think and how they approach, and specifically then we unpack for stock market and how it helps you in the journey, not only in your business, in your job. If you're ready, let's get started. So people say that, if you're not taking a risk, I think that's more riskier than you think. Right? Because if you're not taking a risk, let's say, for example, you're taking in a job, you are actually having a risk because if you don't perform, you may not have that job. Or if you're in business, if you're not improving or you're not checking on certain parameters, you have taken a risk to start a business, whether it's solopreneur or as a company, you are taking a risk. But what is important here is you're taking a calculated risk. Everybody here are, in my opinion, what I keep saying, are risk managers, but they don't understand. Moment it comes to stock market, they think it's too risky, and people tend to leave this platform, and it's amazing platform or vehicle, just for you know not having that understanding of how to play with this platform. Just to stay relevant to the topic is what we're talking about, why I think not taking risk in stock market is more risky than you think. That is the topic which I want to uncover. So most of the time I hear from my community members saying, hey, I want to they start off with the big assumption that stock market is where we can make a big money very quickly. That itself is a starting point of failure. I was having a chat with somebody who said, I want to make 100 crores in Indian rupees in 1,000 days. Yes, that's a great goal. But then are you realistic in that? And you set up yourself for failure. And then you tend to take different risk instrument which can lead into the problem. So after having a discussion and understanding of it, then I realized that it is more kind of an aspirational goal, but you have to be realistic on it. So what I always say, I work in frameworks. I start off with, and if you remember, you've seen my previous video, I shared about 4P strategy. What are those 4P? First is your purpose behind what you're trying to do. And if you define that purpose, then you will have a lot of energy towards it, and you will be jumping out of the bed and having that conversation and seeing how you can use whatever you do, whether it's a job or stock market. Let's stay focused on stock market, right? What is my P? I want to share this openly to you. What excites me about is about, and just if you can give a thumbs up and say, are you able to hear me well? Because I'm connected to Bluetooth. I'm not sure. Are you able to hear me well? Please. Thanks for joining live. The first part is I'll keep looking, and if you have any questions, to type in the comment box below. I'll take the questions as well and see if I can answer that for you. Now, my purpose behind is not the money or you grow the money. It is about what you can do. Money is a tool, and what it brings on the table for you in terms of freedom. As you know, some of you know, I do spend a lot of time with graduating students to help them as part of the philanthropy work. I want to encourage them to have better mentorship program, and that is what I'm relating myself to. And that obviously you want to also help on your financial goals. You also want to help near India's on that. So that is always comes in. That's a byproduct of it. But you have to have a purpose. That is the number one purpose which I can keep coming to stock market as a platform, and that's where I can relate it. Second is the knowledge you gain out of that is tremendous. You have to look at different lenses on this, because you tend to get best of best knowledge from stock market when you start following companies. You get to know things in advance, because stock market is forward looking annual in terms of things which are happening in future, where the all these big company owners, they are telling the strategy, what are they doing in specific business. I'm in a fintech domain. I can follow certain companies and understand what's happening in my domain, and I can align my day job of and be in that domain if might help on that, because that might help me in a better position to be able to sell my skills. So there are many ways you can look into um, your investing angle, because you're not only investing in stocks, you're investing yourself to gain some knowledge. And I practically applied that. I learned about client lifecycle management a couple of years ago, and I started researching about it, and I found that companies are going to be tremendous well and had a huge scope. And you see the companies in regulatory tech are thriving. So it gives, and I'm doing the job in that same domain just by that same knowledge I gained from investing one company. Now coming to second P is about persistence, right? You have to have persistence. Once you do this, you have to do it every day. I've seen people coming in and stuck and saying, I was having a chat with one of the Peaceful Weekend investor community member, and he said, I had a challenge in the family, and that's absolutely normal. You might have, newborn baby, or you might have challenging family, or you might have some health issues, or things like that do come up because we are human beings. But how do you adapt your investing methodology, which can adapt to your lifestyle? Not your lifestyle should be adapted for your process. And that's essentially one of the key reasons when I was looking at various ways and approach to how I approach investing journey, because it has to be part of me, where whenever my situation changes, I should be able to, my process should be able to align to that. It should have a process where things are, I'm okay with that. That, oh, I have got time during the day. What should I do? I have time during the weekend. What should I do? I have time during the on the month end. What should I do? So you can adopt to that approach and continue that journey, because obviously time doesn't stop. That's the biggest risk. Losing the time is the biggest risk. Not investing. So you have to make sure time is in advantage, and being persistent is the more important thing, because once you have the passion and once you have a purpose, then you are able to persist. And then comes the passion to it. That's the second, third P is purpose. What is the passion with that you're bringing on the table? Because you now driving force. That is important. And last but not least is the practice. What practice you're doing? How are you acquiring that skills to practice it? Make sure they all come as a package to you. Because a lot of time I've seen people just do one strategy here and moving averages and learn fundamentals. That is tools. That is not actual framework which you are building. So you have to build your framework around it. And that's, I think, will help you understand how you can manage that risk. And I think, everything is risky. All what is important is how you manage that risk is what you need to work on. And that managing risk is your personal journey, right? Because give a thumbs up if that makes sense to you, right? That's your personal journey, because I may not know what your psychological setup is. You might want to be with some less volatile stocks, because now you are trying to fill those skill gaps. See, how do you define your risk taking abilities, and whether what exactly the instrument you should be investing, right? I have a student where said, I cannot handle stocks. So okay, there is an option, ETFs. How do you deal with ETFs? I have time during the month end only. How do you benefit from that? There are many ways you can carve out a strategy out of that. And that is the most important thing. Because at the end of the day, type in comment box, you are only the risk manager. What you control is what you can protect your downside, right? So you are a risk manager. One key takeaway you want to take it, you are the risk manager. That's it. You don't know what will happen tomorrow, right? You've seen some of the videos where I share the silver itself has gone up, gold has gone up crazy, Bitcoin is going up. You can't catch everything. If you have a process, you have limited capital, you can work with the risk management strategy and find out what works best in your 4P strategy. That is what. I'm not giving any financial advice. I'm not giving any kind of buy and sell recommendation. I'm just sharing with you some of the learnings which has helped me, right? Because you need to first understand yourself to be able to understand how you can work with your own strategy which you can build, and that will feel like, and always keep thinking myself, It's like, especially being from Indian background, you always seen Mahabharata and Ramana, and you've seen those bows and arrow, and you have different arrows when during the war zone you take out and do a prayers, and then put those arrows based on situation in that war, right? Just imagine that you are have to have those kind of different arrows in your kitty to work towards it in the day-to-day life in investing. And that's how I kind of take it, saying, okay, last month I was busy, I don't have time, how do I divide my portfolio and work through? That's why we have called peaceful weekend investing lab portfolio, peaceful weekend investing long-term portfolio. Lab portfolio is where you tend to take a situation where you always thinking long term, but you finding those new gems in that journey, so that can be next future of Google's or Amazon's or Tesla's, which were in very nascent states. Because that's where you learn the innovations which are happening in AI. That's where you learn the innovation which is happening in the tech world. Otherwise you stay irrelevant, because you will be bigger, and that is a more riskier thing. Just imagine the leverage, the power you get just by understanding that, right? But there has to be a method to madness, is what we need to work towards. I've been sharing a lot of content around that. So I think not investing is the biggest risk than just putting the money in fixed deposit or things like that. That's my view on it. And thanks so much for this, Ahmed, for agreeing on my point. And I have learned a lot tremendously, and I've benefited from this process, or not only in my day job but also in investing journey. And anybody can benefit from this. And lastly, which I want to talk about is why people think that is risky, right? Because the way the information is fed onto you, towards you, it makes you sound risky, but actually it is not, right? Because most of them, and I don't have to, be any, it's not specific to anybody as such, but I worked in financial technology domain, so I fully understand this how we build the products and how do we implement that. Important point is, it sounds very complicated because of the jargons, because people don't have a basic knowledge and how to look at it. And that basic knowledge, once you gain, then you can take those products to your advantage. Do you agree? Just type agree if these products are available to you. All you have to do is gain that knowledge, which is not very difficult. And once you gain the knowledge, you can use these products in your advantage based on your 4P, which is your purpose, persistence, passion, and practice. So you can, like for example, if you don't have time, you can still use mutual fund. I'm not saying mutual funds are bad, but in my opinion, they're not the right product if you want to become a fund manager of your own, right? And I'll be taking some comments later on. And so at the end of the day, it is all about you understanding these nuances and then try to build it, and give yourself some time. Don't need to rush to it. You can simply give yourself, I've seen people who have learned quickly within 6 months, 3 months. Some of them gone like taken 1 year. Some of them, it is not for me. That's okay. You don't have to worry about that. But question is, knowing not unknown factor is more dangerous than completely you know it and then you take that route, right? So then you're taking a completely calculated approach. This is not for me. Makes sense, right? If that makes sense, just type makes sense, so at least I know that you're getting that. Now, this side of it, how do I approach it? And people do ask me, why did you name Peaceful Weekend Investing? I just want to spend some time on this and explain you, because it is not fully understood. If that's okay with you, just type ready on the comment box so I can explain you what Peaceful Weekend Investing means to me, right? Thanks very much for now, and thanks for joining live. I really appreciate that. Now, it was great and every time I keep getting this conversation on this is why weekend and why investing, why peaceful, right? These three words have all the great meanings here, which relates to you. We all are busy during the week, doing our day job, being part of various other activities, whether a full-time job or business or stuff like that, we're running around. It's only the weekend where you have time to introspect yourself. What is that you want to give to your loved ones? What is that your goals are? What is that you want to do eventually as part of bigger purpose? And that is where it makes you peaceful, because moment you spend 2 hours of your time on the weekend, that will define what exactly you have to do. And then you invest on yourself first before you can invest. People think, oh, peaceful weekend investing, all about stock market. Nothing. It's just a framework of way of life. Stock market is just tiny block in that process which fills a gap. Yeah, makes sense. So that's the way the peaceful weekend investing came through as being. Now, why it becomes peaceful? Moment, let's assume stock market is the thing which you want to learn, because that helps in filling up some gaps in your journey, because you think you believe in that from your day job as well as from your compounding your capital. Then you start learning, and moment you learn, what happens next? It happens that you get some confidence, and that confidence takes you to the next level. And when you go Monday to your job, then you know exactly that you have a skill which not only gets you money to your pocket outside work than salary. Now you have created another skill which is actionable skills which brings money to your pocket. And that is defining moment from the peaceful angle, right? That is a defining moment, and that gives you peace. What does peace mean to you? That you know there is another opportunity for you to help fund maybe your family's goals outside of your salary, right? Because sometimes people might be working with different goals. That also gives you peace, because now you can have extra holidays with your family, or you can support them with some other goals. You don't have to dig into your savings. That's peaceful, right? Exactly, Anna. Backup plan, plan B. I call plan B. Now, just imagine you have acquired the skill over a period of time during your good times, and suddenly your lifestyle changed, and maybe the company you're working, I said, we are closing down, which is very common these days, isn't it? What are you going to do? So you have to have it mentally ready with the plan B. This is my plan B. What is a plan B? It could be various things. So this is something I call it. If you look at a pyramid structure, this peaceful weekend investing sits right at the bottom, gives you all the things what you need, not only investing in yourself, knowledge of what's coming in future, stays you relevant, and makes you so powerful that makes a peace within you. That's peaceful weekend investing. Makes sense? And this has been, you know, amazing journey so far. I never thought that I'll be making these videos, coming live and talking to you. I was just doing it for so many years, but I realized that why did I put the name as peaceful? I have no idea. Just this was prior COVID. I just wanted to come out of my own box. But eventually, what I realized that I was chasing the learning of stock market, because I got this wisdom from my dad, late father, and I wanted to learn it so badly that I made my day job very similar to my night job. I ended up working with a lot of fund managers, building the solutions, end-to-end trade order management solution, right from research to the execution and the portfolio analytics, and ended up working for NASDAQ for stock market manipulation solutions with no recommendation from that. What I realized is I was so much enjoying that, right? And that process of it, realize it, how fund managers are thinking. At the end of the day, they are risk managers. They're managing the risk. They would have strong knowledge. I may not have that. I'm a learner in this market. Now, if I ask you this question is, what do you think the smart people do differently than the retail people, right? The smart people who are working towards, could be fund managers, HNIs and all that, right? They always have a checklist. They always have a process first, and then they work towards it. And is there a way, now that you understand this content, is there a way you can find this, that you can have a process very similar to them and work towards it? And that's exactly tools give you, like price action. Price action, nothing but you can actually peep into their desk, what's happening, right? If you understand price action, it's a language of stock market. Like how you and me communicating here, it's a language of stock market. Do you agree? so you can get that knowledge what's exactly happening. The stock charts are not just simple charts with 50% up, 5% up, 2% down, 50% down. It's telling you something. You don't need any kind of indicators to understand that. Agree? If you understand and go through that, it will tell you. And you can go through a lot of videos I've shared. Generally, I'm not a YouTuber as a technical one. I've just tried to share whatever comes to my mind and share it. Like, for example, simple Bitcoin. I was tracking Bitcoin for last 1.5 2 years, and you can see from $27,020 I've shared a lot of videos. It's gone to where it is. It may not fit in my 4P strategy. That's okay. But tracking and understanding makes you aware. Why? Because you can sense it what's coming future. All this stable coin, all these things, you could understand there's something big happening, and you can connect the dots. Now, I know I'm going digressing bit because we started off being you are essentially a risk manager, right? That's all you are. Just type in below if you agree with it. And you don't need like uh, now Ahmed is asking, I have zero knowledge about stock market, but your ideas and suggestions meets very closely with my work as an if IT system admin. Yes. Now you don't need to have knowledge of stock market. You need to have your 4P defined and work towards it. And you don't need to invest. Moment you are a stock market, and I'll give you a live example. I was having I run a philanthropy work to teach graduating system in remote villages in India, and somebody, one of the students who comes from village background, doesn't have mentorship, so he asked me, and thanks to my late father, he is the one who actually inspires me to do that. They asked me, hey, how do I want to be something in automobile engineering? After the whole purpose of that program was, it's called job acceleration blueprint, is while they're graduating, how can they spend 45 minutes in a day from first year, when they come out they can compete with IIT. That is a goal. That's a big vision which I'm carrying. So I asked them, okay, you want to become an automobile engineer, great. How do you keep yourself updated? All simply you have to do is go and find out top companies in the world, which is Tesla, GM, or any other Toyota. They are sharing all their strategy with their annual reports, con calls, their details. Everything is available online with all smart people sharing all the information about the company, the technology. You already are fed with that information. All you have to do is just follow it, track it, read it, and you are already ahead of everybody. You're top 5% already. That's all you have to worry about. And then you align your knowledge, how to gain that knowledge while you're working or studying in the college. Why can't we do as part of our journey, if even though you come out of the college, right? So, hi, thanks for joining live. Really appreciate all of you. So, and that transformation lead to I'm really good, thank you so much for asking. So that transformation has led to one of my students. She joined Amazon as a data scientist, and others, gain that simple flip. One thing can change your life. That's as simple as that, right? So being a risk manager, you once you understand, not investing on yourself, not investing in stock market is more riskier than you think. And only thing you have to worry about is how you manage your risk. That's all. And after that, you have to just slowly, gradually work towards it. And we call it a base. Once you have right base, just imagine, make this as a pyramid right in front of you, right? Just take a pen and paper, make this pyramid. And in pyramid, first part is base. Base should be strong. Base should be, you can't compromise that base, right? That is knowledge of everything what you need as an ingredient, right? Your psychology, your understanding of how you approach it, how to cut the noise, how to be out of the noise, how to ignore the news, how to make sure you understand the fundamental analysis, how to use AI to benefit from this journey, how to use technical analysis, how to use price action. You just have to have the right base. How to use different tools. What are different products available as a normal person who is doing. I'm not talking that you have to read every damn thing. That base knowledge. Then comes after you have the base knowledge, you go rise. Second block is rise. That rise tells you how you're going to rise further in terms of using this base to connect the dots to make it actionable, right? And then thereafter, you reach the apex, which is where you start connecting and you building those intuitions. You start building the understanding that what works. So this is your pyramid structure: base, rise, apex, and then that framework is what you should be working towards if you want to take one thing. I hope you're making sense and understanding. I'm not trying to give you pure just gyan. I'm trying to tell you the framework which I'm working with, and that is what I love it. I love really, and those people who are part of this journey, I'm really appreciating. And thank you for joining live as well as being going to listen later. But I just wanted to come and talk this out to you. I want to do it more often, but it's just sometimes I'm here. My son is playing basketball. I thought I'll come and have a chat with you while he's playing. That's all I'm doing. I'm not planned anything specific. I don't make any scripts. I don't do anything. I just come and share, right? And I'm still learner. That's all I am at this point. And Anand, they say I work for the biggest insurance company in Australia, and our CEO defined that the reason they make money is by owning risk. Great, awesome, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I understand that it's really helpful. Content like this needs to be advertised. Thank you so much for that. Hopefully, it adding value, and I just thought through because this is something I keep getting so much of where people ask what is peaceful weekend investing, what is that they should, how do they approach it. I simply say that simple. It's not complicated. Today, if you define your goals clearly, it becomes so simple, right? I can sit whole night and trade US market. I don't want to. I want to be peaceful. You need to define your peaceful points. Moment you understand your peaceful points, you can define your strategy on top of it. You agree? It could be for anything. Because not every day is the same. Someday you may not be in a great mood. Someday you will be, in a different um, mindset. But show must go on. Investing cannot stop. You have to go on with that. People tend to think, and I've done that mistake in the past. When things change, I said, I'm not going to do any more investing. Sorry, it's not my cup of tea for next couple of years. The time loss is the biggest risk I get. And that's why my son started investing when he was age of 7. And I made sure that you have long runway and should be no nonsense investing. Yeah. And Jub asking, please put your comments in below what questions you have so I can take it. Jub says, is AI useful in this kind of stuff? Absolutely. Great question. Thank you for asking that. Now, a lot of people are, and I got this question when I talk, hey, are you doing algorithmic trading, all that? I know, I've seen it all because I'm part of this whole thing. Now, I asked one question, simple. And when you don't have the right base, then becomes challenging, right? Nothing is wrong. Everything's great. First of all, what fits in your lifestyle is what matters. Now, if you are, what is algorithmic trading? People who have good servers, they have good direct connection with the stock exchange, they always will have advantage position, right? At any point, every strategy will fail. Do you agree with me? So all these trading patterns, whatever you see, algorithmic tradings, these all are being highlighted a lot. Nothing wrong with that. But I think moment you go into longer term chart, which is a weekly chart or monthly chart or 2 week chart, you can do these days everything possible. It becomes more peaceful because now you cut the noise completely. You don't want to be part of that dancing game going on because those algorithmic trading, there's nothing called free lunches where you think a system will work for you and you'll get money. At some point, it'll fail and it'll take away everything. So if you have the strong base, then you can build what you think is the right thing for you, right? Then you can come up with AI. So to answer your question, AI is great, but you understand it's human, AI, and human. It cannot be AI and human. It cannot be like that. AI is built by humans, so you start with human. Then use those AI tools which are available in our advantage to benefit and save time. You can check some of the videos, or I posted on LinkedIn, how did I build my first agentic AI. If you save your time on your work by using AI tool, can't you use that money to invest as well? Yes. So let's say you're doing a particular job, and that I call a second order effect. You're doing a job, and that job particular task takes you 5 hours, and you use the AI tool and bring it down to 1 hour. That 4 hours you saved, isn't that saving? That saving can be used for learning. That saving can be investing. That saving can be enough for you to build your wealth journey. Today I spend 2 hours per market. That's all I spend on the weekend. That's all you need to do. So it's people have to think through different angles to it and see how you can bring AI into mix and use this tool to advantage. But I've seen that they're just jumping from one branch to another. It's like our brains are monkey, right? My mentor says you just keep jumping from one branch to another and just finding what's a holy grail. There's no holy grail. Thanks so much for this. I'm good at explaining. I really appreciate that for your feedback there, and thank you for bottom of heart. And so I do want to summarize this because it's already over 31 minutes. I'm live. Is we all are risk managers. Just type that we all are risk managers in our lives. No matter I'm standing here, I'm taking risks. Maybe there might be a, some kind of, happens to me here because it's anything, right? So in investing as well, it's all about managing the risk, how you can protect the downside. Then you don't worry about the upside. Upside will take care of itself. Yeah, that's all you have to worry about. So we all are risk managers. Great. Just type in comment box if you are live. We are the risk managers. And secondly, create start from basics of what exactly will be. And I want you to type in the comment box below whenever it is, what does your 4 P's stands for. 4 P's, you define your 4 P's. What is your purpose? What is your passion? What is your persistence? How much time you can devote? And what is the practice willingness you want to do? Just type this, put it in comment box, and then you will see that now you have a clarity that you can do that. Okay. If you got it, just type got it, so that I know that you will do it. All right. And with that, I would like to end this live stream, and I'm looking forward for your continued support. If you find this valuable, do give a thumbs up and also share with your friends and family so they all can benefit from this understanding. I really want to come and share and whatever my learnings are and learn from you. That also is very important, and I'm very, very um, thankful for sharing all your comments and appreciating all that hard work. It is this is Shivendra Bhatia signing off from Peaceful Weekend Investing, and thank you so much. Bye bye.